Hey 198, for those of you that don't know who I am, what rock have you been living under? My name is Second Lieutenant Contis, and today we're going to be doing the third part of our 188 virtual web series. Today we're going to be talking about parade format and the ACR. For those of you that don't know, this week would have been our ACR, so it's a good opportunity, especially for the younger cadets, to start to understand the parade format from a more educational perspective. So that those of you that may fill parade positions in the coming future will have a better understanding, and just so that you guys have a good visual representation of what it would have been like had we been able to go through with our ACR if not for the global pandemic. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over what all these different things on the parade square are. So starting simply with the markers on the outside of the parade square, you see these orange Tootsie Pops. They represent basically the frame of the parade square, where the markers would be to keep you guys in bounds. Each of these fruit shoes here, that's a different color, represents a different position on the parade square as well. So these green fruit shoes that are in front, those will represent the flight commanders. The pink ones that are in the back, they represent the 2 ICs of the flight, or the flight sergeants as we call them in parade format. These yellow ones represent the guards for the flag party. The orange one here represents the deputy squadron commander. The blue one here might be a little far for you guys, represents the squadron warrant officer, which is the third person in position in command of the parade. Deputy squadron, deputy obviously second in command. Our golden loonie here represents our parade commander, or the squadron commander in this case, our cadet squadron commander obviously. Over here we have the rockets making up the band as well as the flights, but this being the band, SpongeBob being our resident drum major with his little ukulele, please don't fall. And our dais made up by my phone case, and Buzz Lightyear from Star Command as our reviewing officer. So, and of course, finally, the most important, our flag party represented by my CADPAT flag, and our squadron coin being the squadron banner. So, we're not going to talk about the entirety of the parade sequence today because this is just supposed to be a basic overline, but we are going to talk about an acronym we use when it comes to the meat and potatoes of the parade, which is RIMPAD. So RIMPAD is essentially what happens on the parade between when the cadets are all formed up and ready for the reviewing officer to come on until the reviewing officer leaves the parade. And since it's when the reviewing officer shows up, the first R in RIMPAD is reviewing officer. So the reviewing officer comes onto the parade square, he takes his place on the dais. The squadron commander will call a general salute, and that essentially means that the parade is going to be starting at that point, the formal part of the parade where the RO is present. So, following the reviewing officer arriving in the general salute, first thing that happens is the inspection. So the reviewing officer, Buzz Lightyear in this case, would move through all of our flights going either, well, there are 3 different ways you can do an inspection, either just the front rank, the front and back of every rank, or just the front of every rank, depending on how much time you have, depending on weather. There's a lot of different circumstances that are important in that aspect, but essentially Buzz Lightyear would leave his little RO dais, walk over, walk through all the different flights, making sure to salute the flag party on the way there, coming back, doing the band last. Generally, you could do the band first or last. Usually most do it last. Inspecting the band, and he's just trying to get to know you guys, talking to you, seeing that your uniforms have been done well, and really kind of trying to immerse himself into the squadron to see, because the reviewing officer is usually someone that comes in from the outside of the squadron and they're trying to get an idea of how well the squadron has done throughout the year. So after the inspection, the next thing that happens is RIM. M in RIMPAD is march past. So essentially all the flights usually turn to the right, almost always it's to the right. They'll move to the right and begin to march counterclockwise around the parade square, saluting the RO as they pass the dais. Again, this is called the dais. And once they pass the dais and come back to their original positions, they'll stop and turn back to face the front. So again, you would have all these parade positions turning and moving to what we call in column of routes. So they would take their position. So in case this flight commander would go in front of their cadets to lead them around the march pass. And once the march pass was over, everybody would turn back to face the front at the end, waiting for the next part of the parade. So our fourth part of the parade is going to be our presentations and awards. This is usually the longest part of the parade in most ACRs. You're going to have a lot of speeches from all the guests that we have coming to see you guys, the CO, the RO, usually the sponsors, somebody from the Air Cadet League. They'll all come out and talk a little bit about the program. all the cadets who have worked really hard throughout the year and been picked for awards by the senior cadets or the officer staff. We would also have that happening at that point to make sure that those cadets are recognized and everybody is recognized for the hard work they've done throughout the year. Following the presentations and awards, which is while you're standing easy, the parade is brought back to attention, and you'll do what's called the advance and review order to essentially signify the end of the parade. Everybody either takes 15 or 7 paces forward, depending on how much space you have on the parade square. 15 is the standard if you have the space. Halting and providing one more general salute to the reviewing officer for the final part of RIMPAD, the departure of the reviewing officer, where the reviewing officer will march off. He's going to fly off in this case because he's Buzz Lightyear. And that essentially signifies the end of the ceremonial aspect of the parade. You would have a sequence where the officers fall out of the parade after that, but again, we won't get into that because it's a little more advanced and not as important for the younger cadets quite yet. So, that is essentially the bare bones sequence of an ACR, of a parade sequence. You'll notice that it's very, very similar to the CO's parade sequences that we do, and that is to prepare you guys to make sure that when the ACR comes, you guys have had lots of practice during those CO's parades. So now that you kind of understand that ACR sequence, make sure when you show up on CO's parades next year, you guys are working hard, you guys are understanding the sequence so that our ACR next year can be even better than it ever has before. So for your little task or activity, the comments and the social media sharing that I want you guys to get done, for those of you that have participated in an ACR before, I want you guys to talk about your first ACR. How did you feel? You know, what memories do you have of it? Did you feel nervous? Were you excited? Maybe if you won an award or something, you can share that. And for those of you that are new to the squadron, what did you think about the CO's parade that you've participated in so far? And to make sure you're able to talk about that as well. Relate what we've kind of done here today about the ACR. How was it a little bit different from what we did the CO's parades? Just to kind of keep your brain rolling so that next year when you participate in the ACR, you're a little more comfortable with what you're going to be doing. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope everybody's been safe at home and still keeping busy. I hope to see you guys soon, and I'll see you guys around. So just as a little epilogue, just showing you guys the close-up version of my wonderful parade square that I've built. I know the angle on the video wasn't perfect, but you can see all the ranks, all the different positions. If you guys have any questions, put them down below in the comments about what might something represent on the parade square if I may have missed it, and I'll make sure to reply as quick as I can. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your summer.